Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachar Kodash. Also want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations unto the elect of Yasher Allah, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the Akim out there enduring this truth across the four corners of the earth, teaching and prophesying through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai in truth and sincerity, as well as the men and women that follow, and those who might look like the other nations but are of the nation of Israel on their father's side by blood. And even just speaking on that real quick, the lesson, what the lesson is pretty much, I ran across an article about Congress, let me see the title of it. I believe it was the AP News. Where we at? Yeah, it says war powers debate intensifies against Trump orders attack on Iran without approval by Congress. Because when it comes to countries and all of this and democracy, diplomacy, and governments and people in rulership, there's always rules, man. And as we see and know, sometimes it's hypocritical, sometimes those rules are bent, sometimes those rules are broken. Which is another thing I want to get into later on, is digging more into the article. But I really wanted to just even go over this first paragraph real quick. But before I get started on that, as I was saying, speaking on, far as the intro, giving double honors to the apostles and elders, that comes out of the scriptures. All right. Giving salutation to the elect, that comes out of the scriptures. Blessing the Akim out there who's laboring in this truth, man, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. That's in the scriptures, the ones that follow, the ones who look like the other nations but are of the nation of Israel, because that's a big controversy as well, is can the heathen be saved? The heathen can, this and that. You got people teaching that doctrine, which the heathen can't be saved, but you will have Israelites that look like the heathen. That's why it speaks about the innumerable multitude. All right. We have to understand that we are the greatest people on the face of the earth through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Read Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, the 24th chapter. And wisdom will tell you how she went throughout all the earth. She was here, she was there, but Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai had her rest in Jacob, man, amongst Israel. All right. So if we have wisdom naturally, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the will of the Lord, why wouldn't we be the rightful rulers upon this earth, man? And just going into this, that's why decisions are being made. The scriptures speak about the hearts of the kings are in the hands of the Lord, man. And he turn it whithersoever he will, as the river, roughly paraphrasing. And we're seeing that more and more. Here it is throughout all of these presidents that's been elected. This is the one who people are most controversial about. You know what I'm saying? This is the one who the people are most divided about. You always have the Democrats and the Republic, and some people, I forget the third one, that some people, I don't know if it's liberal or I don't know, but when people choose not to be either way, the decisions that they want to have done is going to be done, going back to the elite. So yeah, let me read this article real quick. So as you see, the title says war powers debate intensifies after Trump orders attack on Iran without approval by Congress. Because even him being a president, there's a certain order he has to keep, which is those rules are important. You know what I'm saying? It's just like with the priests, the priests, being that they was joined into the Most High, and they was like, will carry out the will of the Lord, if you, in a sense. They had certain, they had certain restrictions, man. All right. Even as needed and powerful as they was, using that word loosely, as they was amongst the tribes, they still had restrictions, man. Okay, they had to marry a virgin. They can't deal with a harlot. All right, certain things of that nature. All right, they didn't have the will, the liberty, I would say, as all the rest of the tribes, man. And it was to keep them pure. All right, what it say? Breaking news: Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is dead. Iranian state media reports, and this is where we at, man. This is where we at. So let me get into this article. I just wanted to get to the first paragraph to start out with. It says key members of Congress are demanding a swift vote on a war powers resolution that would restrain President Nero 47. As you can see it, it says military act on Iran unless the administration wins their approval for what they warn is a potentially illegal campaign that risks pulling the United States into a deeper Middle East conflict. And this is what, man, call all y'all Bashim al-Shai. Salakia for background, I need some strut work on the truck. But this is, or maybe they need to fix these roads. Nah, it's both. It's both. I'll be honest, it's both. But here it is, the apostles and elders have been speaking about a third world war since they got on YouTube. I remember them particularly bringing out the scripture in Revelations when it said, woe, woe, and the second woe cometh hereafter, and going into that and saying, speaking about it, they believe there's going to be a draft, and speaking about a lot of things are manifesting in these last days, man. Okay, that's the Lord showing his power, showing the men that he dealing with. All right, showing his prophecies so nobody can say they didn't know. He's manifesting things and he's warning people. He's giving people admonishment, man. And he's been fair about it. He got his men of the Lord out there on the highways and the byways prophesying and warning the people. Now, if you take heed or not, that word is going to be brought out. Okay, because that is a must. That's what has to happen. That's what's going to happen regardless, because that's what's prophesied to happen. Hosea, the 1st chapter, in the place where it said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall you be called the sons that are living power. So this is the place where we lost our heritage, and ultimately, and this is the place where we were going to get it back, man. All right, and this is the place where prophets was going to be raised up, and they was going to spread the word throughout the four corners of the earth. Except in these days, it ain't like the past days where they travel by boat to go over land. No, we got the internet. So like it's a speedy process now. We ain't sending letters by pigeons and owls and stuff. It's bam, click on the web. You got many platforms, many apps. All right. Many cities where brothers are out on the highways and the hedges, as the scriptures speak about. All right. So let me grab a couple precepts. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. That's where we are at. Everything has its time and it's perfect, as it tells you in Second Esdras. The Lord, here, I'll get it real quick. I don't want to butcher that. It's in Second Esdras chapter 4, verse 37. It says, by measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doeth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So just look at it like, I forget what they call, but you'll watch certain videos, when they hit the domino and the domino knocked down about 35, 40 dominoes, and then that hit this, and then that make this happen, and then it fill up a bucket of sand, and that tips over, and that's just how, that's everything being fulfilled in this said measure. All right, and that's how the Lord deals with these prophecies. is he got everything happening accordingly how it's supposed to be happening. You know what I'm saying? And this is how it's going to continue to happen. All right. Until what? Until that final prophecy is fulfilled, man. Okay. So going back, it says a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up, a time to pluck up that which is planted. And then I'm gonna just skip down to the point. Verse 8, it says a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So everything has its due time, man. All right. And we are in a time where Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is working the minds of the king, working the minds of the people, and he's making the world the love of many wax cold. All right. He got his word going forth throughout the earth so he can judge in righteousness and equity. So there is nobody that say, oh, I didn't know. Okay. He got it to where, you know, Trump came in and he just why you ain't got no coat on? It's all good. I'm doing this lesson though, so try to be quiet. Okay. He got it to where he came in and he's been that cruel Lord spoken about in Isaiah 19. All right, so we are at the point where the snowball effect. You know, the ball is rolling down the hill. You know what I'm saying? Gathering more snow and becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And what it's going to do is going to hit the cliff and it's going to go in the air and boom, smack down on everything. You know, destroy the city. That's what's going to happen. Okay. And ultimately, it's the Lord, you know, creating a way for these nations to hate one another and for that tension to stir up and tension to rise, man. All right, has thou become weak as we, or you know, all the men of thy confederacy, you know, shall bring thee to the border, roughly paraphrasing, to where the nations are going to turn on Babylon. And rightfully so. Look at what America's doing. All right, you're going to kidnap presidents. You're taking oil and selling it to your best friend. And now you know, bombing countries with your best friend. So it's getting to the, hey, as the scriptures say, the least of them shall draw them out, man. Israel has had a constant problem with Iran and their uranium enrichment program. They don't even care that they say that they're using it for clean energy or not. They just at the point where, nah, we feel like y'all building missiles or feel like y'all building weapons. Therefore, we're gonna Salakia, we're gonna come in there and we're just gonna, you know, do preemptive strikes here and there when we feel the need to, man. All right. And that's why the scriptures say, you know, ain't gonna be no war in our kingdom because everything gonna be set in order. Y'all gonna know who in rulership. Y'all ain't gonna have to hesitate and wonder, all right, who's the next superpower. It's only gonna be one superpower, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and you know, the Israelites ruling up under there, man. And the heathen being subject unto us, being our footstool, being our servants. That's why it's not even fair. Why would everybody receive salvation if everybody's not on the bottom? Everybody's not in the slum. Everybody not experiencing police brutality. You'll have an Edomite. He'll be walking with a fucking rifle in his hand, and the cops is talking him down. But a Jacob pull out a fucking cell phone and he gets shot 80 times. And then the cop gets they'll just give him absence or what I forget what it's called, you know, without pay or whatever. No, he should be having his ass locked the hell up, man. All right, all of them. So there is no righteous judgment in this place, especially when it comes to our people. Okay, the elites know who they got in captivity mentally. They know who they destroyed. They know everything they've done. All right? From slavery to this present day. That's why all of this PDF files is coming out. And they're showing you how they operate. You got all these missing kids, and then you got a whole fucking island where they basically playing high go get it at. Like, that's what we dealing with, man. So, yep, call all y'all about Shem Yahweh Shai. We getting to the point where, hey, judgment can't be stopped, baby. It never was meant to be stopped. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Park Radash. Shalom.